He never could have imagined that he had finally found a well-connected friend who could help transfer his son, who had been forced into military service, to a rear position job in the kitchen, far from the front lines. But before he even had a chance to share this good news with his son, their unit had already sounded the assembly call to the front. Helpless, he had no choice but to hurriedly shoulder his gear and rush to the gathering point. Listening to their commanding officer's passionate speech and staring at his son standing tall not far away, Robert felt a deep sense of powerlessness. At this moment, as a soldier himself, all he could do was watch helplessly as his son and he prepared to head together toward what was rumored to be a human meat grinder. They had just arrived at the shell-pocked front-line trenches when the officer told them that in 5 minutes, they would charge the enemy lines. Though it was Robert's first time on the battlefield and his heart pounded with anxiety, he forced himself to suppress his fear. As a father, he focused on calming his already panicked son. He reached out, holding his son's hands, and together they began to pray the way they did back home. But before they could finish, the officer blew the whistle to signal the attack. Robert quickly warned his son to stay right behind him and never run off. With that, he raised his rifle and charged out of the trench. But not far along, an artillery shell exploded beside him. Stunned and dazed, he struggled to stand and realized his son was nowhere to be seen. He stood there, bullets flying around him, scanning the battlefield frantically while calling his son's name, but no answer came. After a tense and desperate search, Robert finally found his son, lying on the ground, hugging his head, completely still and trembling all over. Robert wanted to stay there with his son until the fighting ended, but then his son's friend suddenly went berserk, jumping to his feet and running toward the enemy lines. Seeing this, his son ignored Robert's calls and ran after his friend. Helpless, Robert had no choice but to get up and chase after them. When he finally pushed through the smoke to reach his son, he found that the friend was already lying on the ground, writhing in pain, his face twisted in agony. Robert hurriedly scooped up the boy, soothing him, and with his last bit of strength, the boy finally whispered 4 words, "I want to go home," and then he fell silent forever.